Hi, everybody. My name is Susan Blain. I'm the founder of the Dare to Be Vulnerable project. We're a social impact, not for profit driven enterprise that focuses on sharing our mental health stories. We're committed to breaking silence, busting the stigma once and for all, removing shame, and saving lives. I'm on a mission to make talking about mental health cool. And this project was born from a trauma. And I share that because it brought me to the work that Jane Gratman's provides, her Empowered Feminine Leadership Program, and how that has accelerated my healing journey. Uh, 2019, I experienced a trauma. I lost everything. I was mid 50s, and it's not where I expected to be. I lost my home. I lost my savings. I lost my money. I lost my will to live. I was homeless. I was hospitalized in March 2020. I spent several weeks in the hospital at the mental health unit at Queensway Carleton Hospital. And the timing of my hospitalization was 2 days I was in the hospital before COVID struck the world. And I share that because a lot of things changed. All of the programs shut down while I was in the hospital. Everybody was fearful, didn't know what was happening. And so when I came out of the hospital, all of the outpatient programs were not available. So I had no support. I had no therapy. I had nothing to tap into. God bless my psychiatrist, because she called me every 3 weeks just to check in. But I wasn't able to use or utilize programs that would have been able to help me navigate myself through some of the emotional work, some of the emotional trauma that I was dealing with. And I was really left to my own devices and whatever I had in my toolbox. I had some friends, great support, someone in my network who was a grief and loss specialist who helped me navigate through some of the difficult work. And a lot of it I did on my own. A lot of it I did lying on the floor in a fetal position. I had to create boundaries with certain relationships in my life. I had to remove certain relationships. I was isolated, like many people. I was recovering from a lot of pain, and I realized that I didn't have enough in my toolbox to ascend, to rise up and out of some of the difficult emotional space that I found myself in. And I was introduced to Jane Gratman's work through a friend. It wasn't my first exposure to embodiment work. Interestingly enough, probably about a year before, during my recovery period, 2021, a friend of mine ran a free workshop. I participated in that online. And then I was exposed to another practitioner. So I took in a workshop there. And I was really drawn to this embodiment work, the energy work, and experiencing things through the body, feminine versus masculine energy. And because it was resonating with me, I was drawn to it. And I always take that as a sign, Susan, this is something you need to pay attention to. And this is something that could be helpful if you embrace it. I've always been proud of myself because I'm a good student when I commit. When I commit to something, I am disciplined. And when the student's ready, the teacher appears. And in this case, it was Jane. And I was introduced to Jane through a friend. She had a free 2-hour workshop on a Sunday afternoon. I thought, okay, this was the embodiment work coming back to me. And I took part in that 2-week workshop, 2-hour workshop rather. And I have to say that the embodiment work felt uncomfortable for me. At first, it felt uncomfortable. And I know that feeling of discomfort to be a good thing. That's the comfort zone, right? We're stretching outside the comfort zone. So I knew that's what was happening, and I knew enough to keep going. And so that 2-hour workshop was the introduction. And I thought, okay, I know this is something that I need to do. This is something I need to explore and see where it takes me. And I enrolled in her 11-week workshop and started that with several other women, which was interesting to do as well. For me, strangers, people that I did not know, we were going through this together. And we actually met a couple of times, which was really great too, but we did it online, and it was, a big commitment, 2 hours on one night and then a half an hour. So 2.5 hours a week for 11 weeks, which I consider an intense workshop and a deep commitment. And participation. You're not just listening to somebody talk, you are doing the work. And through that, I experienced some significant transformation. I have been living with anxiety, depression, and mild PTSD since my trauma in 2019. The biggest thing that I've noticed with that struggle that I was having, this physical struggle, is I have less anxiety through the practices that I work with every day through this work. I've noticed, because I am stepping up or being called to step up in a leadership role with this project, building a community of people, hundreds of people, and doing events, doing filming, creating stories, connecting and sharing my story almost every day. Some of the old feelings and the old ceilings, the old barriers, the old walls that I used to hit have come up in a big way. And in the past, I would have reacted, I would have shut down. And what I'm learning through this work is to open up, to tap more into my feminine energy, because most of my life I have been working in my masculine. And the masculine is do, action, 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 push, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle. That voice in your head, you got to do more, you got to do more, you got to do more. And there's a place for that. We have to take action, and we can't just sit on the couch and wish for things to happen. I've done that too. It doesn't work. So I have learned through these practices that I can actually get more done with less effort. The efforting that I'm doing is internal work, is connecting to that feminine presence, connecting within, being present, practicing that. Sometimes it's difficult for me to find the words to articulate, but because I've been working with this work and working with Jane, now I work one-on-one with her, which really helps someone like me in the way that I learn, because it keeps me accountable. I have actionable items that I have to work on, homework every week, and it keeps that level of consciousness very high for me. And there isn't a day that goes by now that I don't put these practices into work, that I don't put them into play. So now, cumulatively, I am seeing results. When I look back to where I was and now where I'm going, there's a sense of confidence and ease. I'm safe. I'm protected. I can do this. And for the first time in my life, to be honest, I'll be 58 in a couple of weeks. It's the first time I've really felt that, and I can attribute it to this work. And I thank you, Jane, and anybody that's watching that's considering exploring this work. I encourage you to do so. If it's resonating with you, if you're listening to this video, if you're jumping on one of her free workshops, take that as a sign that you're being directed, that this is something that is calling you. And know that it's going to feel uncomfortable, and that's okay. That's actually a good thing. Oh, I encourage you to embrace your own feminine energy. Jade's a great teacher. I'm so grateful for her. And I hope that it brings you closer to the things that you want to create in your life. Thanks for listening, and I wish you all the best.